Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome to the Reaver Common Sense, making sense out of the senseless, only on shrmedia.com. Conservative media done right. This is the show where the spin dies screaming and the facts light the fuse. And I'm blaming Sean for the screw up on the intro. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We do not tiptoe around the truth, and we are not going to pretend. Actually, I just realized what I did wrong. And again, it's Sean's fault, not mine. It's always Sean's. No. There it is. We've been playing during the daytime the Senate's the Senate floor with all the debates. So we've been set up the profile for SHR Media Special. So my dumb ass forgot to switch over to my profile. So that's what I did wrong. Of course, it's always got to be something. It's got to be. But as I said, we do not tiptoe around the truth, and we're not going to pretend that the left's insanity is just political difference. No, it's a coordinated deception, and tonight we ripped the mask clean off. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and tonight we're diving headfirst into a tidal wave of hypocrisy, projection, and political meltdown. And I also want to welcome Sackhead Sean and the Phantom coming in late. Of course, she has been late constantly lately. I think we're going to have to fine her for being late. But what we got is James Carville calling for public humiliation of his political enemies, the Supreme Court exposing the left's contradictions on race and segregation, and Coast Guard security forces are forced to open fire on a threat at their gate in California. Power first, trust last. Accountability, never. So buckle up, patriots. Because tonight, we're exposing the left's greatest hits, from political hate to collapsing law and order, and proving once again that everything they accuse others of doing, they're doing themselves. Before we go any further, hit that like button, smash subscribe, share this stream like your freedom depends on it, because it just might. Every click helps us punch through big tech censorship, drown out the media noise, and make sure common sense has a fighting chance. This is the Reaver of Common Sense, where truth lives and the nonsense dies screaming. So we're going to start out. If you want to join the conversation, whether you want to agree, disagree, tell me I'm an asshole, tell me you like me, go to YouTube, look for SHR Media, jump in the chat room. It's all prepaid for by Sackhead Sean. So, the modern press, time and time again, they have crossed the line, but this one really just, it's getting tiresome. They've crossed the line from reporting news to manufacturing nightmares. MSNBC's latest meltdown proves it. During Deadline White House, Nicole Wallace and Tom Nichols didn't discuss policies or strategies. They spun a story of paranoia. Nichols claimed President Trump is acclimating Americans to the idea of using military as his personal army, even saying he could kill anyone he wants. You don't have to take my words for it. Here's exactly what they said live. Let me pull it up. And which one is it? It's this one.
On Helene's point about the possibility here of war crimes. I mean, even the fact that there are officers who are having that conversation tells you about the 5-alarm fire that we are in, because the Trump administration claims they can lawfully kill people simply because they are suspected of drug trafficking like enemy troops instead of arresting them for prosecution. Does that match your understanding of the law?
No, not American law and not international treaties to which we are a signatory. Basically, the president, and I want to kind of foot stomp behind Paul here about a plan. The American president has said, I can point the U.S. military any place I want and kill anyone I want. That eventually is going to become a principle in the domestic use of the military.
Let me stop real quick. I got to jump in here. see if I can do this. Trump has done it time and time again. He's gotten the Democrats and the lamestream media to try to protect illegal aliens, protect gangbangers, human traffickers, and now they're trying to protect narco terrorists. Yes, MSNBC is trying to stand up for narco terrorists. That's who these idiots are talking about.
Yes.
He is acclimating people to the notion that the military is his private army, unconstrained by law, unconstrained by norms, unconstrained by American traditions. And that, I don't really think this has anything to do with drugs. I mean, sometimes I wonder how far he's going to go to stop the release of the Epstein files and how many distractions he's going to throw at us.
The Epstein files. I'm going to say something that I'm going to piss off some people, but it's not meant how it's going to come out. But I'm sick and tired of the fucking Epstein files. Because it's turned into not about the victims, not about what actually happened. It's about a political football at this point. And that's all it is. That's all it is anymore. Because the Democrats did not give a flying fuck for 4 years. In fact, Dick Durbin was trying to block the release of the Epstein flight logs. But now all of a sudden, they care. I've said it multiple times. They're throwing spaghetti at the wall. They're throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. And exactly, the Epstein files are being blocked by 2 federal judges. Everything that has been legally able to be released has been released. And I believe, I know one of the 2 judges is a Democrat appointee. So, now they care. Before it was a nothing burger. They attacked Republicans for talking about it. And now all of a sudden they want to talk about it. They think the House is blocking the release. Get over yourselves. It's tiresome. And you're using these victims for a political point and for your conspiracy theories. Because and I'm using that in a negative way because that's all this is. It's just a huge shit conspiracy theory.
But this is about getting out from under his already dismal record, his record low approval ratings, his struggling with a scandal, and he is now saying
his approval numbers have gone up. What scandal is he dealing with? Except for these imaginary bullshit, made up conspiracy theories that's coming from the left. What scandal? I've yet to see what. Yeah, exactly. It's just scandals. It's the scandal in the room with you right now. Can you talk to it? Jesus.
I am going to acclimate the American public to the use of military force anywhere I deem it appropriate under any circumstances, and I may well.
MSNBC, let's get it out. Do you know what they're sitting here approving of? Narco terrorists, cartels dumping poisonous drugs into our country and killing millions upon millions of Americans. That's what they're trying to protect.
The president may be thinking, I may well have us in a war by the time the elections roll around, which will enable me to say any opposition to me and my party is basically treason and unpatriotic.
There it is, the election. He's going to use it to stop the election. And what pissed me off when I was going through this, I use ChatGPT. Yes, I do use it. I use it just like autocorrect, spell check. And it was funny how it was, these are unconfirmed statements. It's like, how's it? I've loaded the video. Well, they didn't directly say it came from the Democrat. I was like, holy shit, this should drive me up a wall. I had to argue it to finally, and it's like, yeah, you're right. Because these are statements they're saying. They are making the accusation. Well, they're making predictions. I didn't hear them say, I'm making a prediction. They're saying this is what's going to happen. Well, it's their opinions. They're not saying it's their opinions. They're stating it as facts. It's right here in the video, people. And then the left wonders why MSNBC's ratings are in the toilet, while Democrat ratings are in the fucking toilet.
Tom Nichols, your brain and my brain have gone to the exact same place.
Yeah, that tinfoil hat is looking awfully nice on her. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of the bullshit. Listen, there's stuff Trump has done that I'm not a fan of. But this making shit up is getting tiresome. Because that's all it is. They're making it up in their fucking head to try to cause drama. Because they have nothing right now. They have nothing. And that's not journalism. That's fiction written for frightened viewers. There's no plan, no order, no document, no evidence. It's imagination disguised as insight. This is the new business model of corporate media. They trade facts for fear and headlines for hysteria. A Navy carrier moves toward the Caribbean, and somehow it becomes a plot for martial law. The same network that calls themselves Guardians of Democracy now survives by convincing people that democracy is seconds away from collapse. They don't inform, they incite. They take ordinary events and twist them into proof of tyranny because panic keeps their audience loyal. The more outrageous the story, the higher the ratings, if you want to call them high ratings. And the result, millions of Americans living in a permanent state of political anxiety. They told their neighbors are extremists. Their country is crumbling, and the military is one speech away from turning on them. None of it's true, but fear doesn't need truth to work. It just needs repetition. The irony is that the same media crying about disinformation are the biggest purveyors of it. They accuse everyone else of spreading lies while selling their own under the banner of analysis. That isn't oversight. It's manipulation. If journalism still meant something, MSNBC would have corrected that segment immediately. Instead, they double down. Because once your audience is addicted to fear, truth becomes bad for business. This isn't journalism anymore. It's activism in makeup, designed to divide, not inform. And it's destroying what little trust the media has left, if any trust. The real threat to democracy isn't a president misusing the military. It's a press corps that misuses its platform to poison the minds of its viewers. When fear becomes a product, the truth becomes disposable. And coming up, the same media selling fear now claims censorship is protection. But what we're really going to get is... my blood pressure's going up. Only in Washington could a lifelong Democrat, a Democratic strategist, melt down on national TV and have the media call it passion. James Carville's latest outburst wasn't strategy, it was panic. The man who once helped elect presidents is now warning that Donald Trump's return would end democracy. What he's really afraid of is accountability. Because the left's grip on power is slipping, and Carville knows it. Carville. I got Carville cake on the mind now. Ooh, ice cream cake. The same party that calls itself pro-democracy has spent years censoring speech, weaponizing federal agencies, and crushing dissent. They labeled parents as extremists, Christians as threats, and free speech as dangerous. Hair. Dang dogs. My puppies were all up on me. And now their control is eroding. They're screaming louder than ever, not because democracy is dying, but because the people are waking up. Exactly, Sean Carville. Carville on the brain requires antibiotics. At least the penicillin shot. Carville's rhetoric isn't about protecting the Constitution. It's about protecting the regime. The same Democrats who raided opponents' homes, jailed political protesters, and colluded with big tech to censor critics now want you to believe they're defending freedom. They have turned democracy into a brand, and anyone who doesn't buy it gets canceled. This isn't about Trump ending democracy. It's about Trump ending their monopoly. They called him authoritarian while they imposed mandates, spied on Americans, and rewrote the laws to favor themselves. They shouted fascism as they punished thought crimes and blacklisted journalists. Every accusation they make is a confession. The truth is simple. Carville's meltdown isn't fear of Trump. It's fear of exposure. The less machine runs out of control speech, control of information, control power. And that machine is breaking down. Americans aren't afraid of a dictator. They're afraid of a government that already acts like one. And more Carville talks, the more he proves the point. The real authoritarian drift isn't coming from the right. It's coming from the left, disguised in the language of democracy, equality, and progress. But beneath the slogans, it's all about submission. And the media? Silent. Because admitting what's happening would expose the truth. Carville words don't defend democracy. They define the end of it. This isn't fringe talk anymore. It's mainstream Democrat thought. And if you really want to go deep, Carville went on a whole tangent. And it tells you the mindset. Now I'm trying to find the damn quote. Basically, he was going out and he was talking how once the Democrats take back control, that Trump supporters should have their heads shaved and walked down Pennsylvania Avenue while everybody mocks them and spits on them. That's his democracy that he wants to see. I don't want to see any of my Democrat opponents, their heads shaved. One of the great things about this country is political difference. I've never told someone they couldn't have a different political opinion. I'll tell you, I disagree with you. And Sean, you hit it right on the head. They keep exposing themselves. And it says it all right there. Time and time again, they expose themselves like little perverts. But we're just getting started, folks. More truth, more hypocrisy exposed, and a lot more fire coming up after the break. Don't go anywhere. This is the Reaver of Common Sense, and we're not done just yet.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Are you looking for a way to boldly express your faith and love for your country? And check out Seven Armors, the premier apparel company for patriotic men of God, where faith meets freedom in style. Our t-shirts are more than just clothing, they're statements. Bold, stylish, and meaningful. From timeless messages to modern designs, we've got something for every patriotic man of God. Wear your beliefs proudly with Seven Armors gear. Don't miss the chance to wear your faith and freedom on your sleeve. Visit 7armors.com today and join the movement. That's the number 7armors.com.
Come listen to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show. Live on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Rumble channel, SHR Media YouTube channel, X, Twitch, Spreaker, and wherever great conservative podcasts are found. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, guides you through the maelstrom of Democrat, leftist, and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Raised as a free-range child with dirt, stains, mud, and freedom, BZ broadcasts from North Idaho, comfortably surrounded by actual normal people. Jump into our plush, sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent chat room on rumble.com. Click on live chat to join. Now, with 37% more umbrage and 19% more bulbosity than previous shows, featuring delicious Liberty additives for the best in late-night conservatarian talk radio. BZ reminds you that with great beard comes great responsibility. No chinchillas were harmed, embarrassed, fat-shamed, or the focus of any sarcasm whatsoever in the making of this ad.
Done right. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the hiccuping computer. One of those nights again. Welcome back to the Reaver Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, here to make sense out of the senseless. Only on SHR Media, conservative media done right. Before we go any further, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and share this stream like your freedom depends on it, because it just might. Every click helps us punch through big tech censorship, drowns out the media noise, and makes sure common sense has a fighting chance. This is the Reaver of Common Sense, where truth lives and nonsense dies screaming. Speaking of, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We are at 660. We are climbing steady and upwards. I want to give a little brief. Here at SHR Media, we've had some talks, and we're trying to every now and then put out some educational, little informative videos. And I'm going to give a little sample of one that was just done the other day. And you can go to, I know it's on YouTube. I think it's also on SHR Media. I'm not sure. It's the meaning of militia, because that's been coming up again. The talk of the meaning of militia. Dang, I thought I did. No, that's right. I did an article about it. And I'll connect it to an article I also did tonight, which is on shrmedia.com. But this goes into the meaning of militia, because that's one of the biggest misinterpretations within the Second Amendment. And here, let's give you a little minute or two preview.
And tradesmen defended liberty, showcasing ordinary Americans taking up arms to protect their rights and communities. The founders viewed permanent armies as tools of tyranny, using citizen militias to protect liberty without creating conditions for dictatorship. This approach preserved freedom by preventing the concentration of military power in government hands. George Mason famously defined the militia as the whole people, except for a few public officials. This broad definition underscores the founders' belief in the people's role in safeguarding liberty through armed defense. James Madison, author of Federalist No. 46, warned that only an armed citizenry could keep government power in check. His writings made clear that the militia was the people's ultimate safeguard against tyranny, emphasizing the importance of citizen defense. Madison envisioned a militia of nearly 500,000 citizens with arms, highlighting the power of ordinary Americans in resisting tyranny. This vision reflects the founders' belief in the armed citizenry as a balance against government over.
All right, like I said, you can go to SHR Media and also to YouTube if you're in the chat room. It is in the chat. The link is. We're trying to put out more and more of these. We got a couple other ones out too. And Sean did a great article on one of the subjects we're going to talk tonight, and that's about the Coast Guard. And as I said, I did an article which talks about Florida, because Florida now, open carry has been deemed, the open carry ban has been deemed unconstitutional. So open carry is now legal. And there's also a ruling just the other day that ban for 18 to 21-year-olds has been ruled unconstitutional also. And that I agree with. I mean, if they're old enough to go to war and you're telling them they have to follow the Constitution, they have all these other rights, but they don't have the right to carry a gun, that doesn't line up with what the Constitution says. So, but those are two rulings that just came out. Go to shrmedia.com. We've got some great articles. We work to make sure these are factual. We have a couple of opinion pieces, but we try to put up as much factual stuff as we can. Don't you say that. Don't. Shut up with that. Florida is closed. Florida is closed. In fact, here, I'll help everybody. I will give them a map, an updated map. So those in New York that do want to escape New York, here is a map. Even though Florida is closed, here's a map. There you go. There was some issues before. This is the correct map, and that's where, if you're from New York, you need to go to that Florida. Otherwise, below that, the border's closed. Sorry. What was that? John Candy with Chevy Chase movie. Shit. I know Sean's going to jump in a second. I'm going to smack myself for missing it. It's driving me nuts. It was something vacations. I know it wasn't just vacations. Lampoon. He'll pop in a minute and tell me. I know he will. But all right. National Lampoon. That's it. I got it before he popped in. Hey, Biggie. Glad you're here. Better late than never. Hey, you're next to never late, but I guess the Phantom's influencing lately with her constantly being late anymore. The one thing I do want to go to before we talk about the Coast Guard incident is, Clark W. Griswold. But the DNC chair in the end of election faith, DNC chair Jamie Harrison, said we may be nearing a moment where elections don't matter. That resistance may soon look completely different. Exactly what was that meaning? What was that meaning? The resistance may soon look completely different. That sounds like a vague threat, like he's calling civil war. But think about that for a second. That's not political analysts. That's a warning shot. That's the language of someone getting ready to justify chaos before the ballots are even cast. And here's the thing, people. You're going to hear this rhetoric ramp up, and you've been hearing it for a while now, and it's going to ramp up about the election. Why? because they have internal polling and it shows they are going to fucking lose. I'm not calling for a red wave, but if you look what's going on and you go by their rhetoric and you go by exactly what they're saying, they know they're going to lose, so they're already laying the foundation for excuses. And they think they can go, and if you watch what Democrats do, they copy what they find successful from others. They're trying to copy Trump. Look at Gavin Newsom. Look at whoever his little director of X post is. They're trying to mimic Trump. Hell, Gavin Newsom tried getting arrested so he could be like Trump. They're running around talking about the elections. It's going to be stolen. Trying to be like Trump. And that's what they're ramping up to because they have the internal polling. And they know they're fucked. No matter which polling you look at anymore, right now for how they're handling the shutdown, they got a 26% approval on it. Do you know how bad of approval they have to have on the Democrat side to get it that low? I've seen total approval ratings down to 17%. That's why you're seeing a lot of, I mean, look at Hakeem Jeffries. He's pissed. And the media is calling him out here and there lately on his bullshit. They're calling out the Democrats on this lockdown. They're calling them out, and it's pissing them off because they don't know how to handle the pushback. You have Schumer going on the Senate floor and saying the media is running cover for the Republicans. Let me repeat that. He is saying that the media is running cover for the Republicans. Either he is delusional, lying, or Alzheimer's has kicked in on his ass. Exactly, Sean. But the worst thing that he could have done, and Secretary Sean says he is pissed because he is screaming, "Respect my authority," and everyone is laughing at him. And what that's about is Hakeem Jeffries was out there and he pulled a Will Smith. Basically, you know, keep my name out of your mouth. He was out there making threats that people need to watch what they say about him. And that's the worst thing you could do, because what does that do? That's like taking a stick and poking a bear. What is that bear going to do? Turn around and come at you. So you sit there and you say shit like that. And guess what? People are going at him twice as hard now. But when you watch his interviews, he is losing his cool so much. Schumer can't keep it together. Pelosi, I showed you, a week or two ago. Her losing it. They can't take any pushback. They can't take being held to the same standard that everybody else is held. They think they are royalty. They talk this no king bullshit. They think they are royalty. They act it. They want to rule like that. And they don't want to answer to us peasants. But when a party leader tells millions of followers that elections might not matter anymore, what happens next is predictable and dangerous. It gives permission for despair, outrage, and eventually violence. Big E hits it too. I got to get a little buzzer like BZ has. They haven't had to face pushback for decades. And now they don't know how to handle the pressure. They don't know how to, think on their feet. And that's one thing you can give Trump. Through all of his bluster and his mouth, the one thing he knows how to do, he knows how to think on his feet. So when the press goes at him, he can rip them right back. Democrats only know what they're told to say, what they practice to say. They stopped debating. Let me back it up, though. As I was saying, it eventually leads to violence. Because once people believe their vote means nothing, they stop using ballots and they start using violence. They stop debating and start destroying. We've already started that cycle. We've watched it with the left. They have gotten more violent over the last year or two. I know there was other stuff that happened before, but over the last year or two, they've ratcheted it up. We just had an incident where a hunter's nest was found in direct sight of Air Force One where Trump walks up the stairs. He's had 2 official attempts, and there was talk there was a third at one of his events. Charlie Kirk. It's going on and on and on, and they're ratcheting it up. And I'm glad that our government is fighting back. Because during the break, I read that now the Trump administration, the DOJ, is looking at RICO charges against Antifa. And it's beautiful. They're looking at the financing of No Kings. If there is a grassroots, great. Go at it. If these aren't grassroots, don't bullshit me. Don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. Because anybody with a brain can see they're bussing in people. Professional signs, professional printed signs. I mean, Jesus Christ, you're not making those in your mother's basement. And these signs are made within hours to a day from the event. Hundreds of them, thousands of them. Flyers. Even in today's age, that still takes time to make, people. But let's be honest, this isn't the first time Democrats have flirted with this kind of rhetoric. We saw in 2016 when Hillary Clinton blamed Russia interference instead of her own failed campaign. We saw in 2020 when they spent 4 years claiming Trump's presidency was illegitimate, only to call it treason when anyone dared question Biden's. And now 2024, they're going at it saying Trump didn't win fairly again. They call it defending democracy. But what they're really defending is their monopoly. To them, democracy means control, not consent. And if the people vote the wrong way, the people must go. Here's the quick truth. Democracy doesn't die because of bad elections. It dies when one side refuses to accept the results. It dies when power becomes more important than principle. And it dies when political elite convince their followers that violence is a legitimate form of resistance. And if ballots don't matter, only power does. That's not democracy, people. But remember, again, we're just getting started. We got one more segment to go, people. More truth, more hypocrisy exposed, and a lot more fire coming after the break. Don't go anywhere. This is the Reaver of Common Sense, and we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Are you looking for a way to boldly express your faith and love for your country? And check out 7 Armors, the premier apparel company for patriotic men of God, where faith meets freedom in style. Our t-shirts are more than just clothing, they're statements. Bold, stylish, and meaningful. From timeless messages to modern designs, we've got something for every patriotic man of God. Wear your beliefs proudly with 7 Armors gear. Don't miss the chance to wear your faith and freedom on your sleeve. Visit 7armors.com today and join the movement. That's the number 7armors.com.
Come listen to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show. Live on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Rumble channel, SHR Media YouTube channel, X, Twitch, Spreaker, and wherever great conservative podcasts are found. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, guides you through the maelstrom of Democrat, leftist, and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Raised as a free-range child with dirt, stains, mud, and freedom, BZ broadcasts from North Idaho, comfortably surrounded by actual normal people. Jump into our plush, sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent chat room on rumble.com. Click on live chat to join. Now, with 37% more umbrage and 19% more bulbosity than previous shows, featuring delicious Liberty additives for the best in late-night conservatarian talk radio. BZ reminds you that with great beard comes great responsibility. No chinchillas were harmed, embarrassed, fat-shamed, or the focus of any sarcasm whatsoever in the making of this ad.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Jonah, here to make sense out of the senseless, right here on shrmedia.com. Conservative media done right. Before we go any further, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and share this stream like your life depends on it. Because, well, your freedom might depend on it. Every click helps us punch through big tech censorship, drown out the media noise, and make sure common sense has a fighting chance. This is the Reaver of Common Sense, where truth lives and the nonsense dies screaming. Guys, we're at 660. We are working up so nicely. If you could just go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, we'd greatly appreciate it. Oh, man. Trying to go through, there's so much I want to go through, but like I said, we're going to touch on U.S. Coast Guard. I don't want to do too much because Zach Edgehorn, as I said, has a great article on shrmedia.com. Go there, check it out. We'll go over it a little bit, but I want to keep going with this little bit of a tangent of the Democrats lately, because Texas Representative Jolanda Jones went on air and said she would go across your neck when talk about fighting Republicans. Just think about that. A sitting elected official threatening violence. The media yawns. If a Republican had said the exact same thing about Democrats, it would dominate every headline for a week. Now, I'm forgetting his name. There's some race going on in Virginia. The Republican now has a restraining order against the Democratic strategist because they threatened physical violence against them. The Democrat strategist was threatening, basically to beat the Republican, not kind of like beat him in the race, physically beat him. And now we got this one talking about going across the neck. And don't take my word for it. Don't.
Punch you back in your face. I'm going to go across your neck. Because I'm not going to punch you back in your face. I'm going to go across your neck.
And CNN? Okay. Nothing. Doesn't call him out. Just, fucking bobblehead. But because it came from a Democrat, it gets brushed off as just an expression. Let's be real. This isn't passion. It's poison. Words like that feed an already volatile atmosphere. We're living in a time when people are being assaulted over yard signs, when campaign offices are vandalized, when political differences are treated as personal hatred. And this woman, she swore an oath to serve her state, thinks it's acceptable to joke about cutting someone's throat. That's not leadership. That's incitement. It's always the same pattern. When a Democrat crosses the line, the press calls it a slip. When a Republican speaks bluntly, they call it violence. The double standards couldn't be clearer. The same crowd that lectures everyone about tone and unity suddenly forgets those words when their side is the one making threats. Ask yourself, where does that lead? You can't keep normalizing violent rhetoric and then act shocked when people take it seriously. You can't spend years telling your supporters that conservatives are Nazis, fascists, an existential threat, and then pretend you had nothing to do with the chaos that follows. This is what happens when politics becomes religion, when your opponents stop being wrong and start being evil. Leaders either cool tempers or light matches, and tonight, too many are playing with fire. All right, checking the time frame. So, at the Alameda Coast Guard base in California, security guards were forced to make a split-second decision when a U-Haul truck ignored repeated commands, backed toward the gate, and posed what officials called a direct threat. They opened fire, and now, predictably, the headlines scream outrage before the facts are even known. Here's what we know. There were protests nearby, chaos at the gate, and the security officer who did exactly what they were trained to do, stop an unknown vehicle from breaching a federal installation. Yet within hours, activists and politicians were already questioning whether excessive force was used. That's the world we live in now. One where hesitation is encouraged and decisive action is punished. Here, let's take a look. Again, don't take my word for it. On a side note from this, I want to show you. There is the one cameraman, and he stayed there until the very last second. I give him kudos. He stayed his post and just did what he had to get the pictures. Not job, but he did what he was trained to do. But yes, the allegation is that they believe the National Guard and ICE agents were staying on base, and the protest was in regard to that. They believe they were the ones sent for San Francisco. And Trump had a nice long conversation with the mayor and has decided to hold off sending any forces, federal forces in. Before this even came about, that was decided. But because of the left's rhetoric, it has inflamed people and demonizing them. And how many times do we see it in these incidents? Law enforcement tells people not to do anything, and when the people do it, they don't do anything. They think they can get away with it. It's ridiculous what's going on nowadays. It is absolutely terrifying, because this isn't, I don't want to say I'm used to it, but normally it's terrorism, and I'm talking ISIS or something like that. That is what's part of these types of events. But it's our American citizens that are doing it because they're being fed bullshit by a political party that's losing its grip on power and losing elections, and they're flailing, throwing every kind of comment they can and inciting these people to do stupid shit like this. Because it's not Pelosi, it's not Schumer, it's not Hakeem Jeffries getting arrested. It's not Pelosi, it's not Schumer, it's not Hakeem paying the price, and I don't want to see it, so I'm not calling for it, but they're not the ones that are having the violence perpetuated onto them. It's Trump, it was Charlie Kirk, it's the ICE agents, it's the Border Patrol, FBI, the list goes on. And it's all starts with the rhetoric from the Democrat Party. That's where it goes. And I know what I'm going to hear on Twitter, or not Twitter, TikTok. Because the biggest thing, nobody on TikTok anymore is debating the facts of what's going on. It's supposedly my equipment's cheap. Supposedly I'm a boomer. Motherfucker, I'm Gen X. Fuck you. They attack you for everything and anything, but attack you with facts. It's emotional to them, not facts. It's how they feel, what they're being told. It's not fair. It's not what reality is. They were fed a bunch of lies, and they don't know how to handle the loss. And let me give a forewarning to everybody on TikTok. When you sit there, write your comments, negative comments. We laugh. It's funny to us. It is hysterical watching you idiots foam at the mouth and freak out. Because all you're doing is feeding the algorithm. That's the funny part. The haters don't understand whether it's on the left or the right. When you go attack a podcaster and you go on their comment section, you think it's upsetting us. Well, we're sitting back laughing because it feeds the algorithm. And the big excuse that I hear is about money. We're saying anything we can just to make money. I don't know about the rest of the guys, but I don't get paid to do this. I don't receive any money to do this. I do this for fun. It's an enjoyment. There's no money for us. So you can come up with all your little theories you want, but keep the hate up. Keep the comments up, because I need the laughs in life. It's fun because you look like idiots. Sorry about that little tangent, but it just... it doesn't bother me, but it's just like, holy shit, you idiots. If you actually wanted. Yeah, exactly, Biggie. It's a labor of love. It's something we love to do. We love talking about this. If we're not talking here, we're talking to each other. We're talking to other people we know about it. It's fun to us. And you idiots feed into it because you're told. You're told Fox News and all that. I know I can speak for myself, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for Sean because we've had the conversation. We don't have cable. We have no access to Fox News. So we're not being fed by Fox News. We're being fed by research. Yeah, they're boosting numbers. That's all they're doing. And we love it. So keep it up. We need more haters. That's why I laugh when you come into the chat room and you hate. I love it. I love it. For one, it exposes who you really are. And that's the pure thing. It exposes who you really are as a person. I didn't get much into the Coast Guard, but if you go to shrmedia.com, as I said, Sean's got a great article. I got a couple articles up. We got educational videos now up on the violence from the left, the actuality of Obamacare and the rise of the pricing, because it's not what you think it is. You're being fed a bunch of bullshit, and militia, where it actually comes from. It's funny how quick the hour goes before you even realized it's up. But with that, the power of power, the pattern of power, denial, and hypocrisy. What we saw tonight tells a story the mainstream media refuses to touch. From Carville's rage fantasies to the Supreme Court's exposure of double standards. We didn't get to that tonight. Supreme Court looks like they're going to overturn the Voting Act. It's racist. It's based on race. From Chicago crime denial, the governor, just total denial, lied on Fox News. To the Coast Guard split second defense, the pattern is the same. Power first, truth last. Accountability, never. The left will break any rule, twist any fact, and burn any bridge if it keeps them in control. But here's the truth, patriots. The more they lie, the more Americans wake up. Every smear, every cover-up, every meltdown exposes them. The mask is off. The game is up. You can't cancel common sense. And you can't censor reality. And you can't silence millions of Americans who've had enough of being blamed, lectured, and ignored. That's why Reaver Common Sense exists. To cut through the spin, to arm you with facts, and to remind you, this country, that truth still matters. We don't bow to mobs. We don't serve parties, and we don't fear outrage. We serve the truth, period. And one of the things I didn't even get to at all and have it up is, shit, now left my mind. We'll get to it Monday. This has been the Reaver of Common Sense, where truth lives and the nonsense dies screaming. Don't forget our SHR media lineup. BZ Berserk Bobcat Saloon, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Edge of Liberty with Sackhead Show on Mondays and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Mission Ready Men with Big E Jackson, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Reaver Common Sense, that's with me, Mondays and Fridays, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget our coverage of the Senate floor for the government shutdown. We will continue it Monday at 3 p.m. And with that, I want to thank everybody that was in the chat room. Sackhead, Sean, Phantom, Big E, everybody that was there. Good night, Patriots, and have a safe weekend.